buddy. I've never interacted with the man, but I like what he does. So Too Lazy to Try put out a video recently about Bobby Lee and Andrew Santino. He put one out a few weeks ago about David Spade was on the show and kind of giving Bobby shit for being late. And I went and looked at the episode, and I didn't think there was a lot there. I thought they were kind of making a mountain out of a molehill a little bit. But then when I saw these clips that he posted the other day, I was like, oh, this actually is interesting because we've kind of forgotten about all the stuff going on with Kila.
I never will forget that.
Well, I've put it out of my mind, basically.
She's the way. I'm with Andrew Santino.
Well, yeah, that's what we learned is Andrew Santino was very vocal. In my mind, I was like, oh, maybe it's something the fans have made a lot of. But in comedy circles, Bobby's relationship with Kila is clearly being talked about and joked about behind Bobby's back. So let's play these clips from Too Lazy to Try.
This one and then the other unnamed podcast that we don't talk about here.
Mm-hmm.
Do you hate it, Andrew?
No. I think it's a total waste of his time, but I think it's fine that he does it.
Finally, a real answer. You were sort of married to
Kila, yeah. I look at
finish it for me. Kila, yeah. And then how long did that go?
Well, they're still doing the podcast together.
You love that, don't you?
It's an interesting move.
I don't know what the fuck you're doing. I have no idea what you're fucking doing, and I don't like it.
Parents fight.
I don't like what you're doing. I don't like it, and I don't. I think this thing what you're doing right now. I made a mistake.
So that's from obviously the David Spade episode I was talking about, but you can hear Santino's contempt where he openly says, "I don't know why he's still doing that podcast," which is a very funny thing to say about a podcast that I think makes a lot of money. You know,
it does, but I think he's talking more about his mental health aspect of it.
His mental health, and then he also looks at it and says, "Well, you've got Bad Friends, which is one of the biggest podcasts in the country. Why do you need both?" And Too Lazy to Try has a good theory, where basically he thinks that if Bobby Lee ends Tiger Belly, that's the end, the natural end of him and Kalila's relationship. Like, clearly he's still in love with her.
And she's in love with the money that comes in because she's greedy.
Yeah, and Bobby on some level knows if we end this podcast that we're not, we'll be friendly, maybe we'll text here and there, but we're not going to see each other every week, certainly. So there might be an angle to that where Bobby keeps it going. That's at least what Too Lazy to Try said, and it made a lot of sense to me.
Yeah, 057 in the chat says Bobby Lee is insufferable. I actually think he's excellent on podcasts.
Oh, Bobby Lee is a very sweet man. I take that back, Chatter. Now there's Andrew Santino, I think, is very mean.
Oh, you think so?
I do. I think they should change this name of the show to Flag Football since it's red versus yellow.
I like that one a lot.
That's an interesting idea, David. That's something for them to consider.
That one won the chat over.
Oh, good. Yeah, no, I like Bobby Lee on podcasts. It's for whatever reason, and I think a lot of people that watch this show now will definitely disagree with me because I've heard their thoughts. Bert Kreischer and Bobby Lee are the two people I disagree with the hate on them. Like, I can understand it. I can see like the laugh maybe getting annoying or whatever, but like I think they're entertaining on podcasts, particularly Bobby.
Yeah, like people are talking about them not being funny and stuff like that. I'm not even talking about that, but they'll talk about anything.
They'll gossip.
Yes,
which I like. Yeah,
which is interesting. Nick West, $2, just he gave us $2 just for the red versus yellow bit.
Oh, good. Thank you, Nick.
That's very funny. This next one though is Bobby Lee talking about his boundaries, which you can tell by watching him talk here and setting boundaries. He doesn't want to say this, but he knows he has to. And
yeah, this is where he got very annoyed, and he was like, "Enough with the Kila shit," which I can empathize with Bobby, where it's like, "Listen, I know what your thoughts are on this, but I'm not changing, so I want you to stop embarrassing me on a major podcast."
Please, for the love of God. Bless you, David.
I know I've been setting boundaries.
Tell me a boundary you've made recently.
I just, when people used to kind of talk to me in a certain way,
And people that we know, friends of ours.
Yeah, comics and stuff. You know what I mean? I go, hey man, I don't like when people talk to me like that.
Like who's disrespected you recently?
You.
First of all, I'm your best friend.
I know, but I did.
It's different.
I tried to set a boundary with you.
We have boundaries. We have very.
I try to set a boundary with you. I don't want to bring up anything, but I'm just saying that I said something and I remember saying, "Oh, I'm glad I said it."
What did you say?
No, I don't want to get into that.
What did you say?
Sometimes when you make fun of Tiger Belly,
I think this is almost mean by Santino, where he's like, I know what you said, but I want you to tell everyone what you made me stop talking about.
It's literally just so he can be like, I didn't say it, you did.
What'd you say?
mad a little bit.
Okay.
So I go, hey, come on, man, don't talk about that like that.
Okay.
And then you kind of went, okay.
And I respect that.
Yeah.
And I don't. And
then you did it like 2 times after that, but and I'll never do it again. But my point is that
that's comedian instinct.
Instinct, right.
Because you know how where my heart lies.
Yeah, I know. I go, I shouldn't say that because I don't want to get in a fight or this and that. So I absorb it because I don't want to ruffle any feathers. I get a little bit more scared when it comes to any kind of confrontation with you. I said it.
He's so proud.
Yeah,
of
but you
himself.
can tell me
Adorable.
anything.
I know.
And I've never not been supportive of you in our whole friendship.
Ditto.
But so I'm saying
That's not what I'm saying.
So what is it that you can?
What I'm ditto. Well, that's not what
the
I'm.
Tiger Belly stuff is a crux of it, big time.
It's not even that. You do it as a joke, but it's like sometimes I just feel like that's fine. I don't want to. And you haven't done it since then, and that's fine.
And you know how much I love Kila.
I understand that.
I just don't like
you
Gilbert.
You asked me.
I just hate Gilbert.
You can tell, like, so even people in Bobby's like personal life are like, "What are you doing, man?" Like she's basically using you for the money, which is weird to watch. And it's not. I feel weird because it's none of our business, but also it is because they put it out there on the podcast. This is our version of a soap opera in a weird way. Right. So like. It is strange to watch. And then, like, Andy Letterman just left Trash Tuesday.
Really?
So it's like, I assume that podcast doesn't have a lot longer left.
Oh,
I'm guessing.
Bobby
Because Andy was the biggest star on the show.
Bobby could absolutely win this relationship then. Once that goes under, he can be like, he could Thanos snap his fingers and she's gone forever.
Be great if Bobby was just playing this until she had nothing but Tiger Belly and then was like, bye-bye.
You should just kick her off. Like, I mean, Tiger Belly could survive without her. It could not survive without Bobby.
No, Kila interviewing a comedian every week.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah, no. But people, if Bobby had different comics on every week, that would be a good, it probably wouldn't do the same numbers maybe, but I'm sure it would be fine. Whereas Kila doing it, yeah, Bobby has the upper hand in this relationship, and it's interesting to watch a guy that just lacks that confidence to admit that to himself. Now, also, there's the element of we have no idea what their personal relationship is. It's none of our business, whatever. What happens behind closed doors and all that. But it does seem, on the surface, like we're watching a man being taken advantage of, which kind of breaks your heart, because Bobby seems like an adorable boy. You know?
David, your thoughts on Bobby's sex life?
Well, I hope he's not gaining weight. Did anybody else notice that too?
Oh no, is that right?
He looked to be maybe a little bit. Maybe it's just a bad day for him. But yeah, I'd love to see him too. Hopefully he's just setting up for a little 4D chess. It'd be nice if Bobby Lee were able to get a social W one of these days.
Well, that is a tough thing where it's like, that is probably, if he still has whatever feelings for her or whatever, wants the relationship to work out, that's got to be a trigger of depression that I'm sure is not easy to go into. Like, you're literally going into work and it's bringing up terrible feelings every time it happens, Right. So good for Santino for calling it out a little bit, though. Like, that's an actual friend to be like, hey, I know Tiger Belly's successful. I think it's bad for you. Like, that's a good friend, actually.
I've remained friendly to a point with exes before. I could not imagine sitting across from them and talking to them for 3 hours.
Running a business with them.
Yeah, on a podcast every week. Like, just couldn't do it.
Now, I do think part of it is, from what Bobby said, is that Kila is just more responsible than him. So I think she handles some of the business stuff that Bobby just would be a disaster
that
with.
was blatantly obvious during the Schaub fight.
Yeah.
That
So
he has her tentacles in every aspect, so he's kind of fucked.
that's probably a big part of it, that she handles a lot of that end. But it's tough to watch a sweet boy like Bobby being like, it's been years now. Hasn't it been like 2 years since they broke up?
Something like that. Yeah.
So yeah, it's tough to watch, but
Maybe it'd be good for him if he started a podcast where something of comedy where they just sat and laughed for an hour.
I think that's what they try to do, though. No,
They try, but Bobby will go into like the deep conversations. That's what I mean. Like, it's not just, hey,
that's got to be weird to have with an ex-girlfriend.
Yes. Yes.
Like talk about who they're dating now and stuff like that. You know,
Did she talk about that shit in front of him? Like, I would hit her.
oh,
with
I'm
brief-
certain. Yeah, I'm sure. I don't listen, but I'm guessing. Yeah,
Oh, that's God. Andrew's not hard enough on him.
we might have to dig into Kila now that it's come up on the show. We might have to do a Kila segment at some point.
I've been waiting for this my entire life.
Well, you lucked out, pal.
I hate that woman so much.